Okay, we're going to call this meeting to order. Today is the 20th of January. This is a regular Board of Selectmen meeting. I'm Bob Carlson, the first Selectman. Also, we have Selectwoman Nicole Porter, Selectman John Gassion, and Admin Finance Director Suzanne Thoreau. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Is there any public comment on non-agenda items? As we get to agenda item, I'll be glad to take comment, but right now, is there any public comment on non-agenda items? Okay, seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes from January 6th.
Make a motion to approve the minutes from January 6th as written.
I'll
Great.
second.
Thank you. Any discussion?
No.
Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. 3-0 approved. Next, is there any comment by either selectman?
Yeah, I'll just want to thank you, Bob. Certainly thank Heather Summers and all of our farmers that have gone up to Hartford and supported farms. It's certainly not a done deal, but at least we have a little bit of a reprieve, and just want to thank you and Kim. I don't know her last.
Kim Grahalia.
Yeah, and the Lewises in particular. Just it's what happens when people get involved. And
Well, thank you. It was a multi-person effort, and I did see something on social media which said, where our selectmen have they taken a vow of silence? And I guess what they don't know is we've discussed PA 490 at length, and we're not all going to go to Hartford. So if I'm in Hartford, I'm representing the entire board. So you're with me there in spirit, and I know we all felt the same way that this is something we had to do. So it bothered me when I saw that post, like where are our selectmen? In the pictures, I was actually standing right next to the person that posted it. But also, if I'm there, you're there with me. And I wanted everyone to know it's a joint effort. We do things as a group. It's just all three of us don't go everywhere together. Because if we went to Hartford, they'd probably say it was a meeting we were having, a legal meeting we were having.
Yeah,
So.
completely agree. I also will just go on the record is that I will rarely, if ever, respond to social media. Email my town email. I just am not usually comfortable responding on social media for probably obvious reasons. So, but 100% supportive. I let Emily Lewis know that, and I know you feel the same. So
I agree. And I'm just to the same point. I am not going to engage on social media. If you need to contact me, like Bob said, he's got an open door policy. Feel free to email me. I'll respond back. We can communicate that way, but I will not engage on social media.
And that was not a political football by any means. That is definitely a bipartisan, because who doesn't want farms?
Yeah,
I mean, so
right.
So I didn't want to turn into that either.
Town.
So, but we all were agreement, and we were all there together as far as I'm concerned.
Absolutely.
So,
So just want to thank
you.
everybody that that was able to go on up and continues to be a respectful voice for what we do here in town.
And I think there'll be, as Heather said, it's not over, but at least we got a moratorium for now.
Yep.
So we can do our grand list, and the 2020 values will be considered, not 2025 values. But there still has to be work done. There has to be farmers at the table when we talk about in the future, how will this be assessed in the future? So we don't want to go down this road again. We also know it's an election year, so we make sure this carries through to a non-election year to make sure that we're all on the same page. North Stonington cannot afford to lose our farms.
Yeah.
Thank you. First Selectman report. I'll just say we did get some correspondence from Lori Hopkins Kavanaugh. She wanted me to read it into the record, and I'm not going to, and I'll tell you why. Because I can't verify it at this point. So she's making a lot of accusations, some against Heather Summers, some against the Senate vote in general. And because she wanted transparency on this, and because it was going to be in the public record, I did forward the emails to Heather Summers and say, you know, do you have an answer for this? And Heather is going to, she couldn't do it today because she was up in Hartford working on PA 490, but she's going to send me a Senate record and give me what the votes were, who voted for what, and so on. So we should have those before our next meeting. But until I can verify something, I'm sure that if something came into me and was about Lori Hopkins Kavanaugh that said this, and this, and we couldn't verify, I wouldn't want to do that to her either. So when we get things verified, I'll be glad to make something as far as a town record, but I can't do something as far as town record just on hearsay. So I hope you appreciate that because I know we all have got that email. All right. So that's it for that stuff. Now let's go on to the bigger events tonight. We start with the Tax Relief Committee proposed ordinance discussion. And I think Chairman Lou Gingerella is going to handle that. I see some of your committee members are here with you.
Says welcome. Is this working? Okay, good. Thank you. Okay. Thank you, Bob. My name is Lou Gingerella. I was asked to serve on this committee by Bob. Before we get into the details, I would like to thank the other people that are on the committee. Two of them are here tonight, John Olson and Brian Rathman. They're here tonight to support the action. And then Connie Barati and Ann Nelson also worked with us on this proposal. The gist of this is that increasingly volunteer fire departments and volunteer EMS departments, ambulance departments, are having increasing difficulty getting volunteers to work. So this proposal is meant to help support that activity, that we get, we improve the likelihood of getting recruits, and we improve the likelihood of retaining the individuals that are working with the volunteer fire department. Should the ambulance department start using volunteers, this would also cover them as well. So that was the reason, the impetus for us taking a look at this. The way we approached it was to consider the cost benefit of this. We had an initial meeting, and Bob met with us at that point and gave us a sense of where we were heading with this. And we also met with Chief Steinhardt to get his opinion, his input on this proposal. So I understand that there's a packet that you've given to the selectmen. I think I like to get to the bottom line. And the bottom line is, should we enact this proposal, it will provide a very cost-effective way of rewarding volunteers for activity, for working with the volunteer fire department. This is not a blanket, you're on the volunteer fire department, you get a tax abatement. The abatement that you will get, the write down on your taxes that you will earn, will come from your participation, going on calls, working within the fire department. It isn't just that if you show up, if you're just a volunteer fire department member, that you'll get this tax abatement. It is the worksheet that you have. There's no number on it, but there's a worksheet that shows the implication to the town as far as how much this might cost. We based this on a report that Chief Steinhardt presented to us, showing the activity within the fire department. In an absolute worst case scenario where every person that's on the fire department as of 2024, and they served and they did 20% of the calls, which would barely be a stretch, it would be an $86,000 cost to the town to support this. Based on 2024's activity, it turns out to be $54,000, just over $54,000. When the committee examined this, we thought that that was a very reasonable cost to maintain a fire department. To compare that to having to have a full-time fire department in North Stonington, the cost would be extremely high, much, much higher than that. So we thought that this was a very good program, a good way to incent individuals to stay active, and not a big cost to the town. We worked with Chief Steinhardt on how he will report to the town to clarify and to certify, actually, the activity levels and to how much money individuals would be receiving off their taxes. So that's also built into the ordinance. I think that's, any questions? I'd be happy.
Just speak a little bit about what the tax abatement amounts are and what you have to do to get them.
The tax abatements are broken up into three categories: 10% activity, 20, and 30. If an individual on the fire department makes 10% of the calls, that would be based on 2024, roughly 40 to 45 calls during the year, they would receive a $1,000 abatement off their taxes. And it goes up to 20%, and it would be, 10, 15, and 20. If they do more than 20% of the calls, then their abatement would be equal to $2,000. In 2024, that was 23 of the individuals on the force.
Sorry, I just want point of clarification.
Mhm.
The document says 25% or higher. Is it 20 or 25? Am I looking at the wrong thing?
I'm looking at this one.
I'm looking at this one, it says 20%.
Okay, I'm on, in looking at the ordinance under section 4 that I have, I'm not on the worksheet. The call percentage achieved 10, 15, and 25% or
Yes, that's
higher.
on the draft, right. We ended up going with 20%.
Okay,
I'm sorry. So that was,
So that was
This
the
is right.
draft
Yeah.
version.
yep, this is the draft.
Okay, so this is, if there's an ordinance change, it has to go to a town meeting, which
Mhm.
it would do. I mean, we can discuss this, and this is the first time we saw it, so we can either table this till our next meeting and vote on it then if the other selectmen would like to hear more about it, not through you, but come back to questions.
Okay,
Or they could email you with questions, or we could vote to approve it tonight. But again, it doesn't get final approval until it goes to the town meeting, which is an ordinance.
Okay.
All right. Questions for Lou on this? John?
there
Not
might
at
be a
this
couple of
point.
comments from
And that would be fine.
members of the committee.
Okay, we can do that.
Want to do that for? Okay. John.
I just want to thank you. I love, just a comment, and come on up. I love the tiered approach, and I love, thank you for that structure. I think in my mind, I thought that it was going to be a blanket amount for anybody volunteering at all. So I love the accountability that's built into it.
We did feel it important to make someone earn this, not just to go there and have,
Yeah.
and hang out.
And
so.
actually to have the fire department get the time out of the volunteers that are,
Exactly.
yeah.
Yep.
I
Great.
got one question, Lou. On the 20% calls or the percentages in general, their training, will that count into this? I mean, you're saying calls, but say they're at 9%, but they attended every training. Would that push them
That-
over the 10% to get that abatement?
That counts.
Okay.
And the reason it counts is because we did kick this around, is that we thought the chief especially supported that idea in that they really need individuals to be properly trained. And
Right.
to incent them to go to training is important. And so that's where that's included.
All right.
And then every year. So how will it be? Who's going to be responsible for deciding during or before tax season who qualifies for the year?
As it is now, because there are other programs for the fire department, the chief submits a report. I believe he does this to the tax collector or the tax assessor. He will be filing a report that lists all of the activity for all of the members, and he will sign this and he will attest that it is true. And based on that, he shows the percentage of calls, the percentage of activity that they had during the year. And that's what the tax abatement will be based on.
Okay, thank you.
And these are only for North Stonington residents, correct? Obviously.
Right. There was a discussion about having other volunteer fire members. Maybe they live in North Stonington, but they serve in another community. And the committee decided that that wasn't something we wanted to do.
I would agree with the committee on that. Also, does this go by a calendar year or the fiscal year? And if someone leaves halfway through the year, obviously they're probably not going to meet the number anyway, but.
Well, some of the members, they might do that because one person here that did 70% of the calls. So if they make the hurdle, I would think, I mean, this is something we can talk about, but if they make the hurdle to that percentage and they're still living in town, then
Then you still
think they'll get it,
qualify.
yeah.
I was thinking more in terms of someone moved out of town.
oh, well, they
As long as they made the percentage though, then they
made the percentage and I suppose they might still owe town taxes even if they left, right? The way that works. So
Yes,
they might,
could be.
yeah.
All right.
And that was the other thing. We originally looked at this to only cover real estate taxes. But we added to that personal property tax. And the reason we did that is trying to get some younger people in that might not have a house, but they have a car and a truck.
So they might be renters or
What's that?
living at home or renters. then?
Exactly, right. That they too would get a benefit. And so that's why we included them.
All right. John, did you want to talk?
John, yeah.
Thank you, Lou.
Just for the sake of the microphone, John Olson.
Okay.
One of the things I just wanted to make reference to, Lou mentioned there are other smaller incentive programs for the firefighters. And so we had a discussion at our last meeting that when you decide to present this in its final form, to clarify in the presentation to the public that these other stipend programs exist. It's not in our jurisdiction on the committee to decide whether this is to be in addition to or to replace the existing programs, which are also based on participation. That's something that you'd want to look into before the actual presentation of this ordinance is presented, so that you can present it with full disclosure that other programs exist. That way it doesn't become a surprise and a discussion at that meeting. So if you want to compare that, or if this is to be added to what already exists, the others are in a line item in the fire department's budget. This is not. This is an ordinance which bypasses the budget process. It obviously, the cost is included in the town's expenses, but it's not a votable yay or nay year to year.
Correct.
Once this is an ordinance, it's an ordinance.
Well, and just affect the grand list and taxes we assume to collect over the course of a year. So it'll affect the budget that way, but not in particular line item.
Right, not as a line item.
Gotcha.
Okay, but the other items, the stipends that are pre-exist, are line items in their budget.
Thank you. Either one, whichever one wants to come up first.
This on now?
Yes, it is.
I guess it never got shut off. All right, I was on your committee too, and when I got the call to be on it, as far as looking at an ordinance, I says, okay, so I'm gonna examine it. And when I did examine it, first thing I saw, they're asking for an abatement instead of an exemption. And it's totally different. Abatement comes right off the tax. The exemption comes off the assessment. So I looked at that and I'm thinking, wow, I looked at a lot of the other different things the town has, and a lot of them are exemptions. So I was for exemption anyways. So anyways, I go on and I says, okay, they wanted it to retain firemen and try to get more in. And I thought, I said, gee, I've heard that before. And when I looked at the budget, like John said, there's 2 items here. And I'm not sure if they're both to retain membership or not, but it's the B 2007 or B 2008.
Is that 2607 and, or was it
2007, B 2007, and B 2008. If you add them both up, there's $100,750. Now, I don't know if those programs are working or not. Fire department will tell you that.
So you want me to explain what they are? So longevity goes by years of service,
Okay,
and they get a stipend for that. And then the second thing is the annual, activity stipend is, give you an idea. So let's say I have 400 calls in the course of the year. To divide that total up by the number of calls, or average number of calls, then if there's, let's say there's $200 put aside for this particular call, then whoever shows up divides that $200. So if 10 people show up, they get $20 each. If 20 people show up, they get $100 each. Actually, $10 each. That's what it is. So that's how that stipend works. So you have to go to the call to get awarded that stipend. I'd say that as Lou brought up, the kind of pricing we look at to have full-time firefighters versus volunteer fighters would be much more expensive, because now you're paying a lot of other things like retirements and medicals and so on. So this is still, for the town's sake, a less expensive way to do things. And yes, they get a small stipend if they show up to the fire. So it could be $20, $25, and then they get this tax abatement at the end of the year if they go to so many fires. But that's what those lines are.
so they can get both then.
Yes. Yep.
Okay. And I'm not sure how well those programs are working, but I guess there's nothing to say about it. But it could bring it up to over 180 some thousand. Like I say, I mean, I think that I just thought that an exemption would be better than an abatement because of those.
But I think you're.
I just hope when time comes, I'm sure the selectmen will look at that, and so will the Board of Finance.
And we'll make sure it's transparent, as John had asked. But as John asked, we'll make sure it's transparent on what any stipends or any payments that the fire people receive. We'll make sure that people know that. So it's not like we're doing this but nothing else for them.
Okay. Okay, I guess that's all I can have to say. Oh, the other thing I was going to mention, the ordinance that we were given was from Stonington to use as a guide. And I think they got a lot more fire departments than we have. Plus, I believe they have a district tax for the fire department.
I think they have 4 or 5 fire departments in Stonington. And I think they do pay a fire tax, so I'm not sure.
We don't. This all comes on the back of the taxpayer.
Right, and I think if they did assess a fire tax on top of your regular budget, it may be more money that you would be paying instead of less.
Okay.
I know my sister lives in Coventry, Rhode Island, where you know where that is, Brian, because you came from there. And there's 3 fire companies, and she gets her budget, her bill every year for her taxes, and gets assessed $1,700 on top of that as a fire tax.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we haven't done that here.
I'm just saying, we're not Stonington.
No, we're not.
They got a lot more money than we got,
Mm-hmm.
so. Anyways, that was, when I was given the call, those are the kind of questions I ask. And it's nothing against our fire department or anything. I think they're great. But I just wanted to be thorough in what I say.
Well, thank you for serving on the committee, and thank you for being thorough. Sean?
Brian's comments answered my question about abatement.
So Brian answered, his questions were answered, those same questions you have. Perfect. Is there any other questions or comments? Would the selectmen like to vote on this? Again, this can't go until we have a town meeting, which I don't think we'll have one until March. But is the selectmen want any comments on this? You want to table this? You want to vote on this evening?
I think for me personally, I'd like to table it because reading through it, I know Lou just spoke about training and that being in here, but maybe I'm missing it, but I don't see it in this ordinance
Okay.
as of yet. Like, I mean, I see the call response requirements, but there's no specific thing saying training is included to get that as a thing. So for me, I'd like to see that put in before, you know, we vote and pass it because it's just not in here.
Okay.
I'm fine with that.
Okay. So Lou, why don't we stop by sometime? We'll clean up some loose ends. We can retype it, have it be all inclusive, then we can vote on February 3rd. Still not going to hold anything up because town meeting's not till probably March. Great. Thank you. Okay, so that's tabled for now. 298 vacant room discussion. So let's talk about that for a minute. So we know that we had the Giving Closet had 2 rooms that we went to a town meeting. We offered to lease those rooms. Once the Giving Closet was no longer connected with the school, we offered to lease those rooms for $1 per year plus utilities. And at the 11th hour on the day of the town meeting, I was asked by the director of the Giving Closet to take that question off, so we did. Which said she would not be retaining rooms. So I said, okay, then let's do this. If you can do me a favor, you can vacate by the beginning of January. This was in late November, I believe, early December. I just checked and there's still quite a bit of material there. So I'm gonna have to send you an email tomorrow to say, will you vacate? I have 2, that gives us 2 empty rooms. Now the library came to us probably about 2 months ago and said, if we get our building project approved, we need to have the library basically stay in business. They have to stay operating. And is there any place in this building that we could allow them to go into and have some desks and phones and keep operating? I thought, well, possibly the back of this room, which is not a great idea because there's no way to secure things in the back of this room. But when the Giving Closet said that they weren't going to stay and retain those 2 rooms, I thought, well, maybe that would be a perfect room, especially the one closest to the parking lot, because they can secure it, they can lock the door, and they can have desks and they can have their phones and so on. And I was told by the director of the library, we're looking at probably like a 6 to 8 month period when they wouldn't be able to use where they are. And so it'd be a very temporary situation. It'd be here 6 to 8 months and then they'd be going back to the library. But obviously they can't work there when there's work going on. The second room then was left open. And then I was approached by Amy French from the Max Snacks and said she was thinking of moving out of the location she's in now. And I said, okay. So and she said, you know, you had offered this to another 501c3. Could you offer it to me? I said, yes, if you have a certificate of insurance on file and some sort of an MOU or contract with the school, let me know you're connected with the school. We could probably do that, but it's something that the Board of Selectmen would have to vote on. If she's not connected to the school, if she's not able to get that MOU/contract, we could do it a different way. The same way we're going to do the Giving Closet, but it would have to go to a town meeting, get approval from the town, because then we'd have to lease the room to her. It's the second room. If you see a map in your tonight's paperwork. So the Giving Closet room that I would like to at least earmark for the library, and of course a lot has to happen between now and then, would be room 12, like 1280, the one closest to the parking lot. And then the, excuse me, it's 1284. And then the second room, the one that Amy's looking to do some, wrong number, I apologize, so stop back. 1424 for the front room for the library, and 1426 would be the room that Max Snacks was looking to have. So that's where we are. So we have 2 people, the library pending the approval and the project starting, and then Max Snacks asking if they could have the room one way being connected with the school or another way going through a town meeting, get approval that way. I'd like to have any discussion from either selectman on thoughts.
Bob, can you just clarify, the lease of $1 a year, including utilities?
So the utilities, the
Meaning-
way we do utilities in this building, you take the square footage of the area that they use. This is the same way they do it in the early learning center. The square footage and how that applies to the entire square footage of the building, and then they pay that percentage. So if the square footage in that room, hold on, let me just look at that again.
Looks to be about, well, the library one would be 439 square
Right,
feet, it
and
looks
the
like.
max snacks is 550. So whatever percentage 550 is of the total square footage for this building, that percentage is what, so when we get electric bills, we get gas bills, we get water bills, they pay that a percentage of those bills.
Okay,
And we invoice out the early learners, we invoice out the school because of all the space they use, and then the town pays the remainder.
okay.
John, any questions or comments?
I mean, what are we looking for tonight? Because
Well, I can't do
We
much
had-
tonight,
yeah,
except for
'cause-
the fact that, so I have the insurance. I
Okay.
did have a MOU from the school, but it goes back to the other building that you used. I don't have one for this building. So when I talked to Amy, I said, I can't let you use the room until I have those pieces of paper in a file and we know you're there and an approval from the Board of Selectmen. So, I mean, we could, a couple of things, we could table it, we could vote on it tonight pending my receiving that documentation from the school. If we don't receive it, let's say it never comes forth, there is no MOU or documentation, we'd have to go the other route, which we go to a town meeting. Because now we'd have to, if it's not connected to the school, we'd have to lease it out like we were the Given Closet.
I mean, I know Amy is here. Do you want to come up? I would like a little bit of information as far as what the goal is, things like that. Would you mind? Is that all right, Bob? I don't want to.
No, I was going to invite her.
Oh, okay, sorry.
You beat me to the punch.
So I do have an MOU.
Pull that down a little bit,
sorry.
kiddo.
I
There you
do
go.
have an MOU. I did meet with Troy and April, who is the special ed director. So we do have a contract with them at Max Snacks on 224 Norwich Wesley Road. But when we talked, they were very open to coming here. But I didn't, my responsibility, I didn't know it was my responsibility. I thought it was after the meeting. I have a insurance certificate I gave him the MOU for there. I didn't know I should have had one prior to the meeting being approved. I didn't know that. If I knew that, then I would have had April do it. She didn't respond to my email at the last 11th hour that I emailed her to see if we could get one for here. We do have a contract with them right now where we'll work with their life skills program, making dog treats, no cooking here, obviously, but they can still measure them. We can cook them elsewhere. Making our own t-shirts. That room will be open to the life skills program, no matter what, if I'm here or not. The teachers for the life skills program can have access to our room where they can make their own t-shirts if they want to do a school project. That's what the life skills program is. It's to do like a shopping list, to order Stop and Shop online, to give them all that life skills program from beginning to end. And my other goal is I want it opened because, as you know, I have a daughter who's intellectually disabled. Doing this program, I've come across parents who have no idea of what's going on. And that breaks my heart. It truly does. They don't have a caseworker. They don't have anything. And I want it to be open. Like, I want them to come in and check it out. I want our high school parents to know that there's life after high school for these kids. Why can't, I want to keep it here no matter what in town. But I think I didn't know what to expect after high school. There's so many parents that don't know what to expect. And I want them to be open to it. I want them to know. I know it's very emotional, sorry. But I think it's important that in our special ed director is doing a fantastic job working with me. She really has. And so has the superintendent. But I think it's important that our families know that we have something in town for our kids.
Can you give us, I'm sorry,
Nope. Go ahead.
can you give us a snapshot of what the week works like? Are you going to be there Monday through Friday from 8 to 4? Would you be there 2 hours one day? And
Right now I have, so I do have 2 individuals that come to work every day.
From Wheeler?
Nope, from, that are adults.
Oh, okay,
That
gotcha.
are
Sorry.
adults.
Yep.
And I actually have 2 more that I do in-home services for. And one of my in-home services is an ex-North Stonington resident that moved. So it's nice that I saw him grow up and now I'll be his in-home service. I'll take care of him in-home. But I do have 2 adults that come here and they'll come here. They're only here on Tuesdays and Thursdays, from 9 to 1 or 2. But our program with the high school will be Monday through Friday. I mean, they can do it whenever. I can be here. I don't have to be here. We have great special ed department and they can run it. I mean, I want them to know that, like, I have a heat machine to make their own t-shirts. Like if they want to promote their t-shirts in school, that's what they should be doing. You know, they should be working hard at being part of the community.
Your insurance, you said you've already
do.
given Bob. Does the insurance, the way that it's written, doesn't just cover you at
No. Nope.
the old Beth? Okay.
No, so
It would cover you here
it
as
would.
well.
And he
Okay.
did have some questions that I thought I would ask after. He did have some questions
Okay.
he had like building questions that I did not know.
And so to your comments of the life skills
Mhm.
classes can come on over here. Yep. Let's just say, God forbid, something happens. You're not here. You have an arrangement that they can come on over and use.
It would be covered, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
It would all be covered.
and that's
It probably
exactly-
would be covered, no, under the school too, Bob, or no?
they would, but when someone gets injured, they look at any avenue to
Yeah,
go out. So they would come probably to the town, but they also they'd want to have her have insurance to go after that too.
Okay.
So-
Okay.
but we haven't even discussed, like, I mean, I am just saying that if I'm not here, the building, that's always open to them no matter what. Because that's what it's for. It's for them.
Okay. And so kind of maybe a clarification from you, Bob. If she is, if she gets the written,
The MOU.
the
or contract, yeah.
MOU, that she can continue those services here, does that become a school issued thing now? And we don't have to go through a lease for $1
Correct.
and
It's
sharing. of
very
the-
similar to Mrs. Costanza. So she's still connected with the school, with the food pantry. The Giving Closet was connected with the school through the activities group, activities fund, and with the Give Back Club. Once the Giving Closet
She
was no
has
longer
separate,
doing
yeah.
that, it changed how we
Okay.
had to do it.
So if for whatever reason you don't get that MOU, the door is still open, but
But-
we would need to create a lease for $1 a year and charge the portion of the utilities.
Right, and it would have to go to a town
A
meeting for
town meeting.
approval.
Yeah.
And the
Okay.
other thing is, it's actually like, if we were to be here, it would be saving the Board of Ed money because of transportation, where they would have to bring the kids to Max Snacks.
Yep.
Now they don't have to.
Versus
They
they
would
can
just
just go-
walk them across the street.
Yep.
And pulling someone, like April and I were talking, they have someone that drives the van, but they only have certain people who drive the van, so they wouldn't have to pull from that just to do that.
Are you anticipating that this is fully funded through your 501c3 and your own
is.
funds? So it won't be town funded at all?
Nothing
Okay.
is town funded. Everything is paid through Max Snacks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nothing financial from the town.
John, anything? So we can, I guess if we wanted to, we could approve it pending the MOU, which I would make sure you had copies of before I would let the group move into the room. If we didn't get that, then obviously we'd have to just hit the brakes. The approval tonight, which would pending that, would not happen because we didn't get it. And we'd have to go through the second process, which would be the town meeting form, that process. So Or we can table it to, I know Amy would like to get an answer sooner instead of later, and if she did get approval, let's say in the next couple of days, we got the copy of the letter or the MOU from the school, and I can have the previous tenant clean the space, then I could offer it to you immediately if that happens.
What is your timeline?
I don't have one.
Okay.
The sooner is better than
But yeah,
later.
as soon as better. I mean,
Okay. I just didn't know when you were planning on kind of ending the
no,
contract with where you're currently at, how, if you have to be out
no, I
at a
don't have,
certain.
no, I don't have, no.
Okay.
So it was just whenever,
Okay.
as soon as possible, preferably, but, if April, I mean, April and I have been communicating, she's very easy, but, she's also busy too. It's exams and everything this week, so and it's my fault, sorry. I didn't know that I should have had one for the building. I thought covering it over there to at least know that I had a contract with the school already.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah, when I saw it, I was surprised that the school didn't recognize it here, and I apologize too, because I didn't tell you that ahead of
yeah,
time.
no, it's okay. I'm sure she'll write one.
Okay. Um,
So if we, so John, you think, because I don't want to pressure you, but if we vote tonight, are we voting on both the library and Max Snack
I would like to,
situation?
and we can do it separately if you'd like, but I want to vote to say we would earmark that room for the library if they needed it,
Yeah.
knowing it's for a short
So
period.
does the same go for the library? Would that be a full lease written up with
The fact that it's
dollar-
only for a 6 to 8 month period and the library actually donated all the slams to the town years ago, I don't think the town would, I'd have to check and see legally, talk to the town attorney, but I don't think the town would, they're going to go for a lease for a 6 to 8 month period, which is the temporary space while they're getting the
It's not
library.
like we can prorate $1.
Right, and yeah. And
So
I think they would be
75
covered.
cents?
75 cents sold.
I mean, but if the law says, if the town ordinance says we have to do it, we'll do it.
Okay.
But we could be a year away before that happens.
And then I'm assuming that their insurance policy will cover them in a different
Correct.
location as well.
Yes, we'll make sure they're covered for this building.
I'm okay voting tonight, but John, whatever you want to do.
When you checked with the library, is that enough square footage that they needed, or would it?
They've seen the
Just
room.
looking-
I
So
know,
they're-
I
they're good.
questioned
I
that
mean,
as
that's-
well.
They're not going to be running a library. They're really running they're just having desk phones and operating. It's basically their operation. So it's their office space.
Okay.
So if somebody calls, asks you a question, needs to talk to somebody, there'll be people here. So Emily, Kim, Diane would probably be here on a regular basis while that was happening. I don't imagine they're going to be running a library like a library as we know it.
And I mean, and I know that you had already talked to them and they
Correct.
feel that the room is adequate. 'Cause that's
Adequate
one of the
for,
questions
they
I
were
had
just
as
looking
well.
for a space, and this is convenient because you can walk here
Yep.
from the library, so.
Okay.
So I guess if you wanted to make a motion in the library, you just say pending, after I talk to the attorney, pending we do everything correctly. I just want to earmark it for them now, knowing that we'd have to do it correctly to make sure that we're allowed to do that without a town meeting. And then as far as Max Snacks would be pending the document from the school, that we have that in our hand. Or however you want to word it.
Thoughts, John? I mean, I can make a motion, but
If you want to make the motion, I mean, the only thing I'm concerned with is the MOU. I mean, getting the MOU and going to a town meeting. I mean, earmarking it, I don't see a problem with that at all.
So the MOU, if we receive it, there's no town meeting.
Right.
But if we don't receive one, then there would be a
Yeah.
town meeting.
so if for whatever reason you don't, it would have to wait until we can call the next town meeting, which would be
Probably
Marchish, you're
March.
thinking. And that still would be okay, timeline wise? Okay. So I'll start with that. I'll make a motion to allow Max Snacks to, let's see, with an MOU from the school stating they are affiliated, allow Max Snacks to utilize that designated room, sorry.
1426.
1425.
1426.
So, so just, sorry, I'm pausing my.
Yeah, I
Jen,
gotta-
listening. I'm pausing my motion for a second. Sorry, Jen, if you're trying to do minutes from this. So Bob, 1424
Would be-
is the one closest to the road,
that'd be
right?
the library.
And that's the library.
As
1425 is next.
Mrs. Costanza's
Oh,
food
that's
pantry.
Mrs. Costanza. Okay, so it is 1426.
Correct.
Okay, sorry. All right, so I will make a motion to, with an MOU from Wheeler School, allow Max Snacks to operate out of classroom 1426. If no MOU is in place, we would move forward with a lease and a town meeting to approve.
I'm
I
good
think
with
that's
that. Close enough.
It's a really
John,
convoluted motion.
if you didn't want a second, I'll be glad to second it.
No, I'll second it.
It's basically, we're just earmarking the room for
Yeah.
now. Things have to happen, right? Either a town meeting or a MOU. One of those two things has to happen.
Yeah.
All right, so we got second. So I'm going to stop for discussion for a minute. This is when I usually let people from the audience, if they'd like to chime in, if they want to say something before we vote, I'll be glad to listen to your point of view. Sean, nothing? Wow. Okay. Amy, you already spoke. If there's no comment, then I'll move forward with the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. 3-0. Okay. And do you want to talk about earmarking the library?
Yeah, so I'll make a motion to approve for the library during their construction to operate out of classroom 1424 for the time period that they determine is needed during construction, with the caveat that we do not need to go to a town meeting after hearing advice from our town attorney.
Right. So if the town attorney says, even though it's 8 months, you still should go for a town meeting, even if you just let them use the room, I guess we'd have to lease it to them. Again, maybe for $1 for however long they are, 6 months, 8 months, but
Yes.
I'll see what he says about that. So,
But I'll add to my motion, if for whatever reason, the advice of our town attorney is that we need to lease it, we would go to a town meeting
and go through that
and go
process.
through that process to approve.
We just want to make sure we do it right. That's all. So don't want to break any rules. Enough people tell me that we broke the rules if we do. So just to not do it that way. But I just really wanted to find out if you were okay with the library and Max Snacks in those two rooms. And so you motioned, do you second, John? Do you want me to
I'll
second?
second.
Okay, who second? So discussion, is there any comment on the library? Amy, I do have a question. If it moves through where Max Snacks is in one room and the library is in there, and we think that maybe the library would be better served by the bigger room, because
Yeah.
one is 550 and one's 439. Would you, and I mean, they're both in what we call the giving aisle, right? So, okay, I didn't think so. Just it might work out better. I'm not sure the full library extent, but maybe the bigger room might be better for them, and maybe the small room works. It's not like it's a small room, but okay, perfect.
Yeah, my concern with that for the library was they said they might need storage area on top of desks. Didn't they mention something about storage as well?
They could store in a pod or something if they had to. I think they just wanted some space. All right, go.
Yeah.
You have to.
You have to use the
unfortunately,
mic.
You have to come up. They can't hear you online.
So if you do get the MOU this week from April, what is the time frame?
Well, I have to send an email to the previous occupant and find out how soon I can get that.
But wasn't she supposed to be out today?
She was, but I'm not going to be the one who throws everything out on the sidewalk. It's not, I can't do that.
No, I know.
So I would just try to appeal to her to say, can you give me more of a hard date and when I could expect to have you
but I
Uh-huh.
kind of need a time frame too.
I get it.
So,
I'll send an email and see what her response is, Amy. You know, so if it's obviously, if we go through a town meeting, it's not a concern because that wouldn't happen till March anyway, but if it happens now with the MOU, all I can tell you is I can ask her what the dates are, but I'm not gonna have my crew come down from the highway garage, physically pick up stuff and
no, I know. I'm
throw
not
it.
saying that. I'm not that heartless.
You just need to know when
But
you
I
have
just
to
need
start
I need
packing
Yeah.
up and
And I'll do my best to get that answer for you,
Okay.
you know, but I can only appeal to someone give me an answer that they can live with, so.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Thank you.
Thank
so
you.
Bob, I mean, I think that one of the other reasons that I'm okay with this is that the deed on this property, right, always talked about use of education. I think that this really fits that theme. But it certainly does open the door for other nonprofits to want to do something similar to this. Do we have any other rooms that are
No,
even
we have no other
remotely
room.
available?
I think we have no other rooms, and we, as the Board of Selectmen, always have that ability to say no.
Yeah.
So I think we would look at the 501c3 B, is it from our town? And does it satisfy the education piece, which this does?
Yeah.
Even
And
the library
clearly the
does.
library,
It does because we actually have kindergarten, first and second graders that come to the library every
Yeah.
week. So,
okay, all right.
all right. So I don't think we voted on the library.
No, I don't think we voted on either.
No, we voted on the first one.
Sorry, yes, we did. Yep.
So there's already a motion on the floor. All those in favor of earmarking the other room for the library pending their need, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, 3-0. So both rooms now are earmarked, and we'll just see where that takes us in the next, they both have conditions. We'll see where those conditions take us. And I will talk to the attorney about doing that the correct way. All right, next on our agenda.
Sorry, Amy, would you go year by year to year? Like, so is a new lease drawn up each year?
We can do a multiple year lease like I do with the early learners. It's a 3-year lease with a
Okay.
renewal. Automatic, not an automatic renewal, but a renewal after 3 years.
Okay,
But would the MOU have to be renewed every year as well? So wouldn't that depend on the lease?
We could do that. We could write that into the lease.
No, I mean, God forbid if the school decides they don't want to continue the program.
But we
they would
can
have to
write
have a
that
town
into the
meeting
lease.
For her to stay in the building, correct?
Correct.
yeah,
I mean, we'd go from MOU as education, and then if they decided it wasn't working, and we'd have to bring that
We'd
to a
have to-
town
yeah.
meeting to continue the lease with her,
Correct.
correct?
Yep. But I think we'll have time to identify these things as they happen.
Okay.
okay.
Okay, next on our agenda, travel affairs BOF appropriations. So as we know in your budget, which you just got the first rendition of your budget for this year. And by the way, the budget is not on the agenda this evening. I just want to give you the first draft. I don't have all the information in here yet. I have to work with Melissa tomorrow. I'm still waiting for some information from some of the other people that I have to get for information from to finish this budget. I'm waiting for some revenue from the state. But I wanted to give you the first look at this budget. So just we'll attack this more at February 3rd. We have DPW, fire, and ambulance coming to us and to the should be February 4th, us and the Board of Finance. And on the 14 days after that, so on the 18th, we have, I think it's the library is coming, the Recreation Commission. The resident trooper has asked if he can come and talk about flock cameras again this year because he's adamant that is something that we should have. And Jason himself wants to come talk to us about it versus last year where he wasn't here. So and I think the registrars will come speak to us also about their budget. So that'll happen on the 18th. But it won't be until after all that is when we start looking at reducing the budget. Okay, but this is at least your first look at it. You'll have an updated copy again in 2 weeks or sooner. So back to tribal affairs. So if you look at the budget, I think it's B8 or 9. It's actually a B9 annexation, tribal recognition, and land into federal trust is the category. We budgeted $20,000 this past year. we spent almost the entire $20,000. So I can't spend any more of that money without an appropriation. So because we're going to be going over the $20,000, I have to come to the Board of Finance tomorrow evening to talk about an appropriation, which is in your packet. The appropriation is going to be for $6,717.50. And what I've done is I've talked about where the money is going from. This was invoicing we received from Perkins Cooley, who is our town attorney. So again, the total number is $6,717.50. I'll be going to the Board of Finance tomorrow evening. If this is approved by the Board of Selectmen this evening, to ask for that appropriation, that has bring us back to zero. And I'm also going to have a executive session tomorrow evening with the Board of Finance, just to give a little bit more background to where these numbers are coming from. Because there is part of this that's in litigation as we speak.
So this, the $6,717.50 just makes us even right now with invoices that we've already received.
Correct.
We would need to continue to go if.
I don't think we can.
What are you
You
talking
can-
about?
If you make an appropriation, like if we make this now and we
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 can
can't go back, right, for another
We
appropriation,
no,
the
we
same line item?
can. We can. We can.
Okay.
But I mean, I get another invoice between now and the end of the fiscal year, so we can. And I mean, we could have said not to exceed, but this is exactly, I wanted to be transparent what the invoices were, what the amount of each invoice is. They'll get a copy of those invoices tomorrow. And then again, I'll do an executive session with them to discuss why why the town needs this money to pay for the attorneys. But it's because a piece of this is in litigation, and I can't speak publicly about something that's in litigation.
Just point of order, if John and I attend Board of Finance tomorrow, are we included in the executive
I can
session?
invite you in.
Um,
Unless you're online, then I can't.
yeah, I mean, my only question was, what if something happens and they're back in court and we receive additional invoices?
Then we're going to go, I think we've been, not last year, but the year before, we went for 2 appropriations for tribal affairs.
Okay. So clearly we've not paid the August. We have one dating back to August 13th.
Correct. But one of the reasons why it dates back that far is if you look at one of the sheets I gave you, which is, it looks like this, Nicole, like this, John. When they sent me the original bill, I said to Melissa, I think I've paid some of these, and sure enough, there was 4 of these already paid. So I said to them, I'm not paying another penny until you get your billing straightened out. So that's why they didn't get it straightened out. So I got this new sheet. You'll see the $5,719.43 on there, which is also on the appropriation. And then there's a second invoice that's on the appropriation. So again, I let the attorneys know that you got to get your act together, talk to your billing department. You're rebilling me for things that I've already paid for. And it wasn't until recently we got the new bill. And that's why I didn't pay for the August bill.
Yeah. Thank you for catching that.
Melissa, you can thank Melissa for catching that.
Thank you, Melissa.
Okay. Any other questions on this?
No.
I would entertain a motion to approve it so I can go to the Board of Finance
I'll make a
tomorrow.
motion.
Sean, well, Sean, you can
Sean?
still comment. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Sean, if you want to comment.
Yeah. As long as it doesn't say mute.
You hear me? I would encourage you, seeing how it's early in the year, I would encourage you to approve a greater amount, not restricting yourselves to the invoice that you have already received. As John had alluded to, you can't get a second appropriation approved at the Board of Finance level for the same line item, for the same department, which is that item. So if you need more money than that, you would have to take it to a town meeting. So I would encourage you to look ahead and possibly entertain a $19,000 additional appropriation. I have complete confidence in the Board of Finance or the Board of Selectmen to, spend that wisely and only if needed. But I think you're limiting yourself to only one invoice when you shouldn't have to. And I can read that from the statute for you if you want. But it's
But I think we had in 2023, I think we went for 2 appropriations on tribal. Maybe we did it incorrectly, but I think we went for 2 that year.
Yeah, I mean,
it's done with. Doesn't matter.
I'm okay doing it up to,
I don't know what that is. So we,
well, we're at what? We're at 5 or 7,000.
6,717, but that's above and beyond the 20,000 we already earmarked, that we already spent in this budget. So we're actually at almost 27,000 for the year. I mean, if you want me to ask to a not to exceed $20,000 or $15,000, we could do that. I'll just change this tomorrow before I give it to the board. But whatever we do, I need to approve it tonight for what we do, and I'll change the appropriation tomorrow.
I think I'd be comfortable with 19,000 because if we went to 20, we'd have to go to town meeting anyway,
right?
correct?
Yeah.
So if we
But
went to
19,000 always seems like it's we're skirting town meeting.
But we're letting them know. I mean, we could go at 15, but we're letting them know in a public meeting. We're being pretty transparent that we want to, it's for Indian Affairs. It's not
I would be more comfortable with 15.
15.
Yeah, I'd only doing that 18,
Okay.
18,
So-
19.
In looking at, I mean, the months are averaging anywhere from 1,000 to 3,000.
Mhm. But we don't get bills every month.
No, not every single month.
And we see these months that I'm paying are August, September,
Yeah.
December. I may not be paying January, February, March until April or May, and then we're pretty much almost out of this fiscal year.
Yeah. I would be okay with 15 as well.
15.
So do you want to change then the motion that we would do appropriation to not to exceed 15,000? I'll still give them this documentation on what we need now, but the overall appropriation would be not to exceed
Yeah.
Not to
15,000.
exceed. So I'd make a motion to go for an appropriation of the Board of Finance for tribal recognition and land into federal trust line item not to exceed $15,000.
I'll second.
Okay, any further discussion? If not, I see Jason Manson who wants to speak. So Jason, go ahead.
Jason Mancini, 64 River Road. I wonder what, if any, conversation has happened with National Pequot Tribal Council or Eastern Pequot Nation before we're appropriating tax dollars.
I don't think his mic's on.
The mic is on, but maybe it's on mute. Test.
Here you go.
Better?
Thanks,
Yeah.
Carl.
I say it again.
Yes, go ahead.
I wanted to know what, if any, type of conversation has the Board of Selectmen had with the Mashantucket Pequot Tribal Nation, Tribal Council, or the Eastern Pequot Tribal Council before we start spending tax dollars on fighting annexation or any other tribal recognition issue. I personally object to spending our tax dollars on this. I think there needs to be a different kind of conversation with the tribal communities, given that one tribal community exists within the bounds of this town and another one exists on the boundary of the town in Ledyard. I think it's really important, given the histories of these tribal communities and their homelands, that we have a different kind of relationship than one that's just obstructive and rejecting the rights that they also have and share.
So again, I can't get into what the litigation is, but we're speaking with both tribes on a regular basis. I'm not, my attorneys are, or the town attorneys are, I should say, speaking through their attorneys and through the Attorney General's office. So there's constant dialogue. I mean, it's weekly, it's not like this month and then 6 months later have another conversation. This is constant dialogue, especially with the Mashantucket Tribal Nation, that there's ongoing litigation and negotiation going on now. I don't know if you know, Jason, but this town has an ordinance that says we must oppose annexation. that ordinance would have to be changed. As long as I'm the first selectman and we are the town leaders and we have an ordinance, I have to obey that ordinance, whether I want to or not. And I'm not saying I do or I don't, but I'm just saying that's my job, is to protect the interests of the town. And there's an ordinance that says I have to do it. And that ordinance has been in place since, I think it was 1996 or 97. Us, Preston and Ledgett have identical ordinances. And I couldn't even make an agreement with the tribal nation without going to a town meeting. The town would have to agree to it. It may even have to go to a referendum. I know Ledgett has to go to a referendum to get something changed. So this constant dialogue, this is not something we're just throwing money at it. Yeah, that's why I have to have an executive session tomorrow with the Board of Finance.
Thank you. And then if we want to change the ordinance, what is the process to do that?
Well, you could come up with a proposed ordinance change to the Board of Selectmen. We would have to vote on it to send it to a town meeting. Yeah.
Can I expect headwinds on that?
I reckon my guess on that wouldn't fly in the town of North Stonington. I just don't think it would fly in the town. Not with all the history and the constant dialogue. And it may be different from one tribe to another. Maybe something might fly with one, but not the other. I'm not sure. But I would say, just feeling the pulse of the town right now, I don't think, and knowing what is in litigation with the Mashantucket Tribal Nation, not so much the Eastern Pequots. I'm just hoping that they're going to get their longhouse built, and I actually root for them to do those kind of things, and I wish the state would jump in and do more for them than they have, especially on that entrance that comes off of Layton Hill Road, which is awful. I couldn't even get a fire truck up there if I had to. But that's state property, and that's something that the state should address. As far as them building the house they're trying to build, the longhouse / community center off of Wrights Road, I've actually worked with them to try to get that to happen with Brenda Gear. So it's two different, even though it's one line in the budget, it's actually two different issues.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Any other comment? I think we'll take, I think we already made the motion, but thank you, Sean, for that. I'll take that under advisement, and I think we will do that. So we have a motion on the floor to take, for me to change this appropriation before tomorrow night's meeting that says to up to and not to exceed $15,000 in case there's additional invoices that come in between now and the end of the fiscal year. Good?
Yes.
All right, great. Thank you. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, 3-0. I'll make that change tomorrow. I'll keep all the other documentation on here. I'll just make that bottom line change to what the actual appropriation request is. All right. Next. Human services discussion. On that, we discussed this last time. I think we kind of have an idea where we want to go with this. I just want to kind of hone in a little bit on the timeline, if we could. So I'm hoping that we could, I'm thinking, we know that Teresa's going to be going as of the end of March. I think she's retiring at the end of March. I think we would want to start doing a search followed by interviews by the end of February. So we have time to get someone in. I'm not as worried about the transition from one to the other. There's some transition, but when a new person comes in, I want them to feel free to do how they want to do it. It doesn't have to be, we're not just replacing Teresa because we're changing. This isn't just someone to fill the senior center director role in the agent for the elderly. This is also adding another piece of the puzzle, which is not being done now. So I want them to feel free to do that and not have to mimic put this way, the day I leave, if either you or somebody else becomes the first selectman, they don't have to do it Bob's way. You can do it your way, John's way, Nicole's way, or whoever's way. I think we should give the new person that same ability, because we don't know who those candidates are yet. I'd like to have there's 2 selectmen on that committee. I was thinking, not to exclude you, John, but with Nicole's background in nursing, I'd like to have you on the interview committee, myself, probably Suzanne and Leanne from Stonington, but she runs it there. She volunteered to come and sit in our interview process. So where myself and Suzanne have been working on a job description. We have some from other towns. We're just trying to fine tune it a bit. If we can get something to the Board of Selectmen by early February, we agree to it. We post the job and we start looking for doing interviews towards the end of February or at the latest, very early March. I'd like to have somebody in place by second or third week in March if we could, and then that would give us a week or two transition with Teresa. Is that any thoughts on that, or how you want to handle that?
I just have a question. I'm not sure it's appropriate for the whole room. I just was having a conversation with Teresa at the employee appreciation. Given some of the life changes that she's had at home, it almost sounded to me that she was having second thoughts. Have we had recent conversations with her? And there's nothing, I'm not putting words in her mouth. I just kind of left the conversation thinking, is she having second thoughts about
So we're
completely
not
retiring?
We're not pushing anyone out the door.
No, I know.
No, she's come to us. So I have not had those conversations.
Okay.
I don't know whether Suzanne has.
Okay.
We'd be glad to.
And it might have just been my perception and not anything that she.
I mean, she does come in pretty much legally. I usually see her at least once a week when she
Okay.
comes by. So we can ask her that question. Are you sure this is
Yeah.
what you want to do? And if she wants to extend it a bit, I mean, someone who's given us the kind of service that she has and some of the other employees we have, I never push anyone out the door. I mean, they've earned a right to call their shot.
Yeah, and I'm assuming she would come if anything had changed with her. She knows that she's put in a letter of intent to retire, correct? Or has it just been
She hasn't done that. It's
verbal?
just verbal.
Yeah, we haven't received a letter yet with
Okay.
an exact date, but she's gonna work on it.
Okay. Okay, yeah, I mean, that might be.
But I don't mind asking the question if she's had a change of heart. I know there's been some different things in her personal life have changed recently. So,
Yeah.
we can ask the question. And if she would like to stick on at least to the end of the fiscal year, I'd be good with that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that before we post, do we have to have something in writing, a letter of?
Yes, for the
intent?
retirement, yes, or
Okay.
for any termination of employment, we ask for it in writing,
Okay,
the signature.
Okay.
all right. So you're basically saying, so the work that we have to do before starting interviews and posting and then starting interviews is develop the job description?
Right. So I think I'd like to bring a job description to the selectmen and have
Okay.
them agree
I just
to it.
wanted to, okay.
After we agree to that, then post that job, get candidates to apply for the job, have our interview committee set up a schedule for interviews, interview the candidates, decide on one. If they accept the job, he or she accepts the job, then have that person start sometime in the second, third week in March.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm fine with that. And you're looking to do like a hybrid, take a couple of different job descriptions from local towns and
That's
try
what-
and craft something that fits our needs.
Right. So some of the towns, like Stonington, is a much bigger department. We don't need, like, recreation comes under that umbrella. It's not going to be under that umbrella here. They have youth and family services, which we're not going to have here, at least not now. This could be something that grows in time. But right now, we think we need, through discussions we've had that date all the way back to the last budget season, we think we need something besides senior service. We need that next drop down, which is human services, family services, whichever we want to call
Okay.
it. So
And then do we have a plan? Let's just say, right, because the market is tough out there. We know that we've waited a while for qualified applicants for some of our positions in the past. Do we have a plan if there is a gap between the transition?
what do you,
Let's say Teresa puts in her letter of intent and it's going to be mid-March and we're at the beginning of March and we don't have any qualified applicants that are interested.
so we've already had 3 applications. I haven't even
Okay.
asked for any yet, but
There's,
they're on my desk. But I don't think the applicants are going to be a problem. I think is what the
Salary.
salary is going to be. We have to decide. We do have some salaries on some of the information we got from other towns, so we know approximately where it needs to be. And we've held off on that part of the budget. You'll see that because we have to incorporate it into this next budget. If we didn't find someone on time, I'd probably talk to Teresa and say, would you be able to give me another
Okay.
month or something like that?
Okay,
And I'm pretty sure she would.
yeah, so I'm fine with that plan and time.
There's no voting to do. I just want to make
No.
sure we're on
Yep.
the same page. Okay, great. John, you good with that?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, next is February 9th, 2026, the public hearing. And that's in the library. I just wanted to show you the postcard. It's not going to be this big, but I just wanted to give you the idea what the postcard was going to say. What I tried to do is I tried to word this postcard in such a way that we're not pushing for or pulling against this particular proposal. It's pretty much just informational. Public hearing February 9th, 2026 at 6:30 p.m. The Wheeler Library renovation project. The Wheeler Library has requested $1 million from the town to support its $4 million renovation project. This public hearing called by the Board of Selectmen and the Board of Finance is intended to inform residents about the project and its potential financial impact prior to a future referendum at which voters will decide whether to approve or reject the request. No vote will be taken at this meeting. The meeting will be available both in person and on Zoom. And the Zoom link will be attached and will be recorded for future viewing on North Star YouTube channel. See back for details. The back just says North Stonington Elementary School, 311 Norwich Wesley Road, North Stonington, Connecticut, February 9, 2026. There's the Zoom link and the meeting ID and passcode. So this would be in every door direct mail, similar to we do the quarterly. And do you see any problem with any of the wording on this postcard?
I do not.
You good with it, Nicole? Okay,
Yep.
so I ordered the signs, the signage board signs today. I should be able to get them in probably by Thursday. I'll put signs up a week before the hearing all around town like we do when there's a town meeting. Just so between every door direct mail, I see they already put it on the electric board outside. It says town meeting instead of public hearing, but same thing. Not quite, but and then between the postcard, the signage board signs, and that room could be set up for us. We'll probably set up about 250 chairs that day. John's going to handle the IT in that evening, and hopefully we get a good turnout. And whatever we don't have in person, hopefully we have online. And the fact that it's going to be recorded, people can watch it after the fact. So hopefully we're trying to do our due diligence, be as transparent as we can, and it is what it is. Any comment?
None.
Okay. Here we are, almost last, vacancies and appointments. We have to appoint this evening the entire York Farm Committee. I gave you in your packet a list of the committee members. Tim Chokas is the chairman. Bob Dunn is a member. Rick Wood is a member. Lisa Vino Mancini is a member. David Main, a member. And then we have alternate Lauren Swanson, and we have one vacancy for an alternate. So I would like to motion that we reappoint the York Farm Committee as listed.
Are you
Second.
oh, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Second, John?
Second.
Any discussion? Any
No.
comments? No. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, so your farm committee is reappointed. I'll let Tim Chokas know that tomorrow. Any public comment on anything we spoke about, anything we didn't speak about, anything that popped in your head while you were sitting here? Public comment? Brian?
It says it's on, you hear me?
I can hear you.
I missed what you said about, the public hearing is February 9th.
February 9th.
Now, you don't have a referendum already set up, do you?
No.
Oh, okay.
Just,
I was gonna say,
just a
I said-
public hearing.
I thought you said something about a
I
referendum.
did. So what I
in
said,
June.
I just want to let people know that we were going to vote that evening, that this would go to a referendum eventually.
Yeah,
So it's not going to go, there's no voting that evening. It has to go to a town meeting before a referendum.
okay. And you're gonna try to keep it away from budget.
The town meetings tentatively, I think would be around March 2nd. And the referendum would probably be around March 16th. It's that it falls in between budget stuff.
Okay. I just don't want to see it at the,
It's not, it was,
the
we're
budget.
not going to hold off until May because the library, the schedule they're on, it would put them behind schedule if we held off to May. So it would probably be a standalone referendum in March.
okay, thanks.
You're welcome. Anything else? Okay, our next Board of Selectmen meeting is the 3rd. However, on the 4th, we have our first joint meeting with the Board of Finance to listen to presentations by, as I said, the ambulance, the fire company, and the highway department. Entertain a motion for adjournment.
Oh, sorry.
Do you have something you want?
Motion to adjourn.
Yeah, I'm away on the 4th, 5th, and 6th.
February?
Actually, I'm away. No, February or March you're talking about?
February.
Yeah, I'm cool. Sorry.
Are you away on March 4th, 5th, and 6th?
I'm away the 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th of March.
Okay, so March 2nd would probably be the town meeting, so you'd be here for that.
Yes,
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so but for February 3rd and 4th, you're good.
yes,
Okay, so there's a motion on the floor to adjourn. Do you second that motion?
I do. second it.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. So we're adjourning.